Hi there. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. And thank you for being here. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for learning with us. Thank you for sharing in the comment section. And, I just realized it was a while since I just said thank you. So here we go. Thank you so much for being here. And by the way, if you're wondering, like, why am I not in the office where I'm usually recording? Well, for some reason, the Wi Fi seemed a little unstable. I was kind of like, a little choppy. So I just moved over here, probably just for today. But, anyways, what do we want to talk about today? Yes, the second dimension, of course. We're going to talk about the second dimension. I hope you'll find this really valuable. And the reason we are talking about this today is one of my clients in BedTyme in the app. I've been working with her for a while, and she's at that place where she has like this deep, deep understanding, but still, of course, has questions. And I was like, maybe I can approach things a little differently instead of answering the questions in like the first dimension way that I typically always answer questions. Let's introduce this second dimension that I want to share with you. And I thought it was kind of neat. So I hope we can bring a lot of value to you as well. So we're going to talk about this today, the second dimension, a new way. Maybe it's not new for you, but maybe it is. So I say a new way of looking at questions, at your questions. So 3 things we're going to define the second dimension. What am I talking about here? Meet and 2, we're going to meet 2 questions, the first and second dimension way. Examples I really often think are the best way of learning. So we're going to look at 2 questions, classical questions, and meet them in 2 different ways. And then see how, why am I even talking about this? How can this be helpful, this second dimension thing? So firstly, definition. What's the definition? I think of it this way. The second dimension is a dimension where the content of our questions, our thoughts, that isn't actually what we focus on. That isn't so interesting to us, but rather it's the origin of our thoughts, our questions. Focusing on like, where does this come from becomes that's what the second dimension is all about. So I realized I didn't update one thing here. I'm going to do it real quickly. I said blah blah blah. I'm going to instead say blah blah blah. Okay, so we're going to look at 2 examples of questions and how we can meet them in 2 different ways. So the first question I have is this one, classic one, common one. How can I stop thinking about sleep constantly during the day? Okay. And the way I usually, if you're familiar with our channel and our open classes, our live Q&A sessions, this will be very familiar to you. This is kind of the first dimension approach, which I typically use, which is saying like, okay, well, thoughts really are sort of warning messages from our brain. It's saying like, hey, you should be aware of this, think about this, etc. And when we're trying to stop them, it's essentially like when somebody's trying to tell us something and we're like trying to, muzzle them, and then they be like, no, I really need to say this. Like the more we try to stop somebody from saying something to us, the more they actually want to convey that, So teaching this and saying that when we're no longer trying to stop thoughts, the brain sees that, oh, the message was received, and then it doesn't need to be repeated. So as odd as it sounds, it's actually not trying to stop them. That actually helps. That's the first. Okay, so that's the classic first dimension approach. So what is the second dimension approach here? Well, let's look at that now. Second dimension approach here would be to ponder. Why am I asking this question? What does this question say about the ideas my brain has? What ideas in my brain made my brain come up with this question? Okay, very, very different, as you see. But when we ponder it in this way, we can see things. One example of this is we can go like, aha, this reveals that the thoughts are the thoughts are thought of as unwanted. My brain is thinking about the thoughts about sleep as unwanted. And the question also implies, because it says, how can I stop? The question also implies that it is possible to stop them. Aha. All right. And so this second dimension has the possibility of really, really leading to some profound introspection and like really seeing, where what our brain is up to. And again, we'll see why that's helpful soon. But let's look at the second example, which is this one. What should I do when I wake up at 2:47 a.m. every night? Okay. So my first dimension approach would be replying something like this. Well, when we wake up every single night at 2:37 a.m., for example, we call this a Swiss awakening because it's clockwork, like Swiss clocks. And it shows that our circadian rhythm can be programmed or entrained, just like when we wake up just before our 6 a.m. alarm clock, something like that. And kind of normalizing this and saying that it's nothing strange or unusual, and also saying that not knowing the time can help. When we don't check the time, we don't know it. It's the circadian rhythm and training isn't sustained. Something like that would be my first dimension approach. But now let's look at the second dimension approach. It would be something like pondering, what thoughts are behind this question? And then again, we can find some really revealing things. We can go, aha, there's an idea that there's something I should and shouldn't do when I wake up or when I'm up. It reveals kind of this idealistic thinking that, oh, this is good, this is bad. It should be like this, it shouldn't be like that. It also actually reveals that an idea that waking up at the same time every night is somehow problematic. And it also reveals this attempt to have control. It reveals a desire to do something to stop this, if we will. So again, it reveals a lot of things that, yes, can really, really help. And here's why. I think that the second dimension approach, it like reveals the reason that we have inner struggles very, very, very clearly. When we approach things with this kind of first dimension approach, if you will, that can also be very educational, but it can lead to like, aha, okay, I should stop checking the time. Okay, it can lead us to still be in a struggle. Whereas the second dimension, it can really highlight, why are we in the struggle to begin with? The second dimension approach, when it comes to questions about sleep, it will really always reveal a few things. It will reveal an attempt to have control. It reveal, efforts to manage sleep, effort to manage our thoughts. It will reveal attempts to avoid uncomfortable emotions. It will reveal that our brain is really, really in this kind of problem-solving mode and trying to get control again. It will reveal that super, super clearly. And when that is like, when that is like undoubtedly clear, when it's, I'm trying to find another way for saying clear, but I can't. So I'm just going like, when this is crystal clear, then the process unwinds by itself, because our brain, it is really there to serve us, to help us. And when our brain sees fully that, aha, these thoughts, the questions I'm coming up with, they really just reveal that I'm trying to have control. And it is this attempt to have control that is actually creating the struggle. Oh, then the brain can like automatically by itself, without our kind of willful intervention or micromanaging, it can unwind the processes that keep us in struggle. And we find what escaped us it happens by itself: peaceful sleep and peace of mind. And now, before we finish up for today, you might go, oh, this is really interesting. Where does this all come from? Well, I've never studied this, but I'm aware of course, something called metacognitive therapy. In fact, we did have a guest, maybe it was 3 years ago, named Andreas, who talked to us about metacognitive therapy. And what I highlighted here is like the second dimension was really just focused on sort of probing into the origin behind the question. I think metacognitive therapy is or the metacognition, if you will, is wider. It's basically when we think about our thoughts in the wider sense of it. But if you would like to learn more about this, then I would say look into metacognitive therapy, which I think makes a lot of sense to me. That's it. We will end there today. As always, let me know in the comment section what you thought, and if you're finding that our content here is leading you where you want to be, you're finding sleep happen by itself, you're feeling like yourself again, you're leaving the struggle, that is wonderful. Let us know. Share it with us. If on the flip side things are tricky, you are in a struggle, you're not really seeing the way out, you'd like some more help and support, head over to our website, thesleepcoachschool.com, and check our coaching options. And if you decide to join one of our programs, we look forward to seeing you on the other side. That said, I'll conclude there. Onwards and inwards. Bye for now.